Okay, excellent. So we started, and we're going to go right now. Today we're going to talk about the past. Yeah. So we checked the last class. We talk about the past, and we are going to continue with this. Yeah. So okay, here we go. Okay, here we have. All right. So do you remember the last class that we talked about um our favorite vacation? Right? So we're going to continue with this class talking about how to pronounce correctly these regular verbs. Okay, we have three possible pronunciation. Um, we have three possible pronunciation forms, and when you talk about the past, okay. For example, if you pronounce this verb like right here, so you see that it's pronounced pull, but you don't say pulleth or you don't say nameth, right? You say pulled, named, cleaned. And this is because the last letter of the verb is a voiced consonant, right? Now, we have some other verbs, just like watch, laugh, talk, and they end in this unvoiced consonant. They sounds like ch or k. They are strong, yeah? So in this case, we would say something like watched, right? So the ed ending changes depending on the verb we have. So here, if we have the ed, right, we would say robbed. Here we say watched. So here we have the d sound, and here we have the t sound. Now, if we talk about the verbs that end in e, in t, and d, so in this case, we call this ed, right? So we say in this case, wanted, ended. Yeah. I'm going to show you here another article that I recommend you to read. Um, now you can find a lot of information on the internet. And on the internet, there is this website that is called News for Kids, right? Why for kids? Because, well, sometimes reading news can be a bit boring, right? We prefer to listen to news, watch the news, or we prefer the social media. But if you feel like you want to read the newspaper, you like if you want to read the newspaper, but you want some interesting topics, or you want the vocabulary to be a little bit easier to understand, so I recommend this website because this website is designed for kids, so even a kid could understand this topic. Yeah. Um, so it's, I mean, if you want, you can read the New York Times, the BBC News, or any other kind of news. It's just that when you read this kind of news, it's a good start for you to read something, right? Some people too, they love to read. Some people buy books in English, right? So that's other thing you can do. So we're going to read these. Okay. For example, here we have these news that are about Donald Trump, right? So here I would like to listen to your pronunciation and to help you to improve it. Okay. So we're going to check especially the pronunciation on the verbs that end in ed in simple past. Okay. So many people have heard of Donald Trump in recent days. United States has um, never been so famous. Many people talk about him. Many people say bad things about him. Other people are happy that, um, well, are happy that he's the president. So have you ever heard like, we usually don't talk about politics. But what do you think about this president, Donald Trump? Have you heard like recently anything about him?
Yes, we heard something about Trump.
Yes, okay. So what do you think about him?
He's very populist. He like to the attention for any way. What can I say? I mean, it's not no diplomatic government. So well, that's what I think.
Yes, you're right. It's not very diplomatic. And I think that many people hear about him because the statements that he makes are not conventional. And then some people say that one thing is he says and one thing is what he does. But yeah, it's true that um, well, it's been uh, it's been a very uh impressive year. Like these last days, it's been all too fast, right? So we're going to check here. Um, we're going to read this news, and I'm going to try to help you, if possible, with your pronunciation. So first, I would like to ask Paula if you can help me read, please, this paragraph. Let's go.
In just 2 weeks, US President Donald Trump's government has taken a large number of strong actions that are raising concerns around the world. The actions have left many shocked and uncertain about what the future will bring.
Good. So I think your pronunciation is good. Um, right. So just to focus, right? How do we pronounce this verb?
Shocked,
Good. Shocked. Shocked. You see the difference between present shock and past shocked. Good. So that's sometimes you need to stress this a little bit more because when you say shock, it's not clear that it's the past, right? You need to say shocked so that it's clear that it's past. Okay, good. So I would say a large number of strong actions. Okay, good. So we could start now we read this chart. Please, Samantha.
Executive orders, special powers of a president. Most of Mr. Trump's actions have been made through special executive orders or similar methods. These orders aren't the same as a law, but they have allowed Mr. Trump to make large changes quickly, without needing Congress to approve them. Many of the actions appears to be part of an effort to follow through on promises Mr. Trump made when he was running for president.
Okay. Um, Again, so I don't see any regular verb in past, but it was a good pronunciation. Okay, so yes, like the Mr. President has some special powers, right? So he can take decisions that usually take longer, that usually are considered by a bigger number of people, and he has rushed to take these decisions, right? Okay. So it says also here, most of Mr. Trump's actions have been made through special executive orders or similar methods. These orders are the same also law. Okay, that's about what she read, right? But they have right? We actually we have a regular verb, right? Allowed, allowed, right? That's how it's pronounced, allowed. How allowed Mr. Trump to make large changes quickly. Okay, then you see there, Mr. Trump on January 20 with piles of orders ready to be signed. Okay, so there it is. So there are all his orders and he's ready to sign. Okay, and one of the most, you could say, dangerous things he's done is like the tariffs. Tariffs is a special tax, right? But they're called tariffs in English. Okay. So we are going to ask Paula, can you help me read the next paragraph?
Recently, the biggest news has been Mr. Trump's decision to raise tariffs on China, Canada, and Mexico. The tariffs on China weren't a big surprise, but the large 25% tariffs on nearby allies like Canada and Mexico have shocked many.
Okay, so we can improve our pronunciation in this part. We say nearby allies. Can you say that again, please?
Nearby allies?
Allies,
Allies.
allies.
And
Allies.
and and what does it mean, teacher?
Nearby or allies?
Both. Well,
Okay,
nearby is close, right? Or
yes,
something.
nearby is close, and allies is my friends. You know, when you talk about countries, so we could say it says allies like Canada and Mexico. So I could say, for example, Russia and China are allies, right? Because they are together. They
Okay.
work together for a purpose.
Spanish aliados.
Aliados. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so it says the large 25% tariffs on nearby allies. Okay, like the surprise here is that, well, China is not a friend of the United States, but Canada and Mexico are very close, and most of the things they do together. So affecting these countries could affect the United States itself, right? Well, it actually would do, right? He hasn't done it, but he said he would do it, you know? He said he would do it. All right. We can read the next one, please. Luigi, help me read it. Next paragraph.
Um, at, see, at first, both countries planned to respond with strong tariffs against the USA, but later Mr. Trump agreed to delay the tariffs for a month. In exchange, both countries agreed to tighten security at the USA border.
Thank you. So
Mr. Trump
we're going to check pronunciation. Can you repeat, please, this word? Planned.
planned
Planned. Okay. And what does it say here?
later
Later. Good. Later. Then I think this verb too. Can you say it again?
tighten, tighten,
Tighten. Tighten.
tighten.
Tighten. Exactly. Do you understand tighten?
No,
All right. So they say, for example, if you're wearing something, you know, and you tighten it, it's to, for example, clothes. Clothes can be loosened or they can be tight. Yeah. When you tighten something is just more just, right? Está más justo o apretado. Yeah. So both countries agreed to tighten security at the US border. It means that they made it more serious. Yeah. Okay. So if we stop here, just to have a little of a conversation, what do you think about, well, we have seen that Donald Trump has deported, here we're talking about tariffs, but Donald Trump has deported different people, a lot of people from different countries, right? So, I mean, most of these opinions, they have a political view, right? But the truth is that many people who were expecting to work in the United States, now they won't work there anymore, and they won't, it will be so difficult to go back to the United States, right? Okay, so I think that there are like millions and millions of immigrants, right, in the USA. Yeah, it's so common, right? Maybe you know someone who lives in the United States who is a Latino, or maybe you have family who lives in the United States, I don't know. But it's so common, right? Um, well, so and the point is that now all these people, many Donald Trump said that they were dangerous, right? That but actually they are very um they help a lot, right? If you go there to work, I mean, why not, right? You're just doing your best. But yeah, it's crazy what is going on right now. Yeah. So what do you have any other opinions about it? Look, when you talk about immigration, you think about people from Latin countries, from Venezuela, from Mexico, from many countries that go to United States. But if an American lives in one of these countries, they're called expats, right? And this is not like very fair. So I really don't understand the discrimination of the use of this word when you call someone an expat. So Americans and Canadians, they get offended when you call them immigrants and they are living in another country, but they are immigrants. But when you go somewhere there, you're not an expat, right? So I don't know, for me, this looks a little bit unfair. All right, so Mr. Trump's tariffs have also raised concerns for countries in the European Union, another US ally. Many worried that Mr. Trump might raise tariffs on the European Union next. Okay. I would like to ask now, Edgardo, can you help me read this next paragraph? Limiting US government spending.
Limiting USA's government spending. Last week, Mr. Trump government announced that payments of USAID land and ground will be frozen. The news shocked groups across the USA which count in this money for their works. Some groups went to the court. Later, Mr. Trump backed away from the plan.
Okay.
Back away.
Backed. Yes, backed away. Backed away. Good, excellent. So, yeah, I think this backed away. Okay, that's good. Can you repeat this verb too?
Sure. Announce it.
Okay, and we're going to try to pronounce like then the ending is like a strong T sound, right? So we say Announced.
Announced.
Yes. Instead of saying announced, you say announced.
Announced. Okay.
Yes. Other good thing about this website is that when you see these words that are like yellow, you will have the meaning, right? And this is useful to learn English. What is loan? What is grant? Okay, frozen. For example, this is a terminology, no? A grant is money that is given to someone and does not have to be given back. A grant is money that is given to someone and does not have to be given back. Okay. So, yeah, we have this. On the other hand, one of Trump's, who is an unofficial government program that he put Elon Musk in. We have here Elon Musk. Have you heard anything about Elon Musk?
Sure.
Okay, what do you think about him?
He's one of the most rich people of the world. And he's the owner from the electronic cars, is owners of for the Tesla company.
Yes, and he's a genius, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very smart. Do you know that he's sick? I mean, he has a condition. I don't think it's considered a sickness, but it's a condition. It's called Asperger's syndrome. You know what the Asperger's syndrome is? And this girl, she also has Asperger's syndrome. So Asperger is similar to autism. And the person with Asperger has more like very, we could say problems to socialize. So they usually do weird things. Maybe you remember that, or I don't know if you really watched this news or anything, that they were saying that Elon Musk is a Nazi because
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
right? So, well, he was very excited, but it looks like this is part of the Asperger's syndrome, where people don't behave as normal as they should, right? But yeah, they are very smart. That's one of the characteristics, you know. They're not very social. They have problems socializing, but they're very smart. So here it says, like some of the characteristics of Asperger: exclusion of language delay, higher verbal reasoning, better independent functioning than autism, better with empathizing for others, and okay, females often go undiagnosed. Okay. So, yes, but like you see, he's very smart, but he's not even American. I mean, he wasn't born in United States. He's an immigrant from South Africa. But still, well, he has an important thing in the United States. And now if you go to the United States right now, you will see that it's really hard right now. I mean, the economy is worse than ever. The economy is not going that well. But there are also many people who are protesting and that go out, and everyone has an idea that is the opposite to what you believe, and people are always angry on social media, and people are less tolerant when you go to the street. You can perceive there's some discrimination against people. And so yeah, it's that's a thing, you know. Okay. So yeah, I mean you can read more stories here, more news in this website, and you can like find articles. Like right now we have like something about politics, but you can read any other that you want. Here, for example, they have about nature, they have like about technology. Yeah. And the good thing is that if there's a word you don't understand, well, you can check here on the glossary of words. All right. And usually they're very trustworthy. Okay. And you want to go one step more, you can read the BBC News, or you can just, you know, you can watch news on YouTube, and this for your listening. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to do an activity of listening to continue talking about the simple past, and in this case, the simple past and past continuous. Okay, here we go. One second. Okay, very well. So let's go. Here. Okay. To continue to talk about the simple past and the past continuous, but first we have a listening activity. So in this listening activity, we're going to check this real story. It's about some Americans, an American family that decided to go on a bike from the very top of Alaska to the very ending to Argentina. Yeah. So okay, we're going to check. They did this on a bike. They didn't take the car. Actually, this is something that many Americans do. They travel all the way by car and they take long trips. But you know, some people just like this family, they take the bike. So okay, let's listen to this activity. It's a bike in the Pan American Highway. We read this story, but then we discuss it, and then we talk about the passkey. So here we go.
Unit 1. On the road. Page 6. Listening. Biking the Pan American Highway.
Hi, everyone. It's Amy here on the Travelers Radio Show. Today, I'm interviewing Robert and Diane Miller. They just rode the entire length of the Pan American Highway with their 2 children, Seth and Amelia. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
So, tell us a little about the Pan American Highway.
It's an incredible thing. It stretches from Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, and goes all the way to Ushuaia, Argentina. That's the extreme north of North America to the extreme south of South America. That's almost 28,000 kilometers.
Wow! Did you ride the whole way?
Most of the way. There's a small section in Panama that you can't do on a bike. It's too dangerous. There aren't many transportation options either, so we took a plane over it.
How old were your children?
Seth was 13 and Amelia was 11 when we started. It took us almost 3 years to do it, so they were 16 and 14 when we came back home.
What about their education? Did the kids go to school?
We brought along homeschool material for the 3 years, and we tried to do that, but we were riding between 50 and 100 kilometers a day. I knew that the real education came from being on the road. We were seeing so many amazing things every day.
And I used to be a teacher. That helped a lot.
You started off in the United States, where people speak English, but you were traveling through a lot of Spanish-speaking countries. How did you manage that?
I spoke a little bit of Spanish before we started, and that helped. But we all tried to learn some Spanish as the trip progressed. By the time we reached Argentina, both kids were able to have simple conversations with the people we met. Seth is actually quite fluent now.
What about food and drink?
We ate in lots of restaurants, obviously, but we also made our own food, like sandwiches for lunch. That way, we didn't have to stop and find a restaurant to eat at. We usually just took a quick break for lunch and kept going.
What about health care? Did you ever get sick?
Yeah, a few times. Once, when we were riding through Colorado, I hit something in the road and nearly broke my arm. And Diane had a bad allergy while we were in Ecuador. But nothing more serious than that.
What about communication with your family back home?
We had a laptop. I wrote a blog post every week.
What did you miss the most? 3 years is a long time to be on the road.
I missed having a home, one place I could go to every night. On the other hand, I loved all the free entertainment while we traveled. We were in a new place every day.
We loved it. I miss being on the road, to be honest.
Thank you, Robert and Diane. For more information about their trip, you can read their blog or read Diane's new book, which is called Adventures on the...
Oh, we share our traveling life.
Okay. And so I want to show you now a video. Okay. There. So, as I told you, many tried Some people do it on a car, some people
Travel
take
the
a
world.
bike.
We've been living in our tiny house on wheels for over 2 years, traveling from the USA, Mexico, and all through Central America. Now it's time to take our journey to South America. And as some of you know, we share our traveling life with 2 videos a week on YouTube. And when we started to talk about shipping our van to Colombia, we started to get questions. A lot of questions. Everyone wants to know, why don't we just drive from Central America to South America? And it's a legitimate question. The continent of North America is attached to the continent of South America. There is clearly a strip of land. So why not drive our van from Panama to Colombia and save all the hassle of shipping our van on a huge cargo ship? And don't think it's a silly question. We did not know any of this when we got started planning our journey around the world in a van. In fact, we've learned more about geography over the past 2 years than we ever thought possible. So, why not drive? Well, the answer is actually simple. There are no roads. But why are there no roads? Let's answer that question. If you Google search this topic, there are a lot of reasons mentioned. And for the record, we have not triple checked the validity of these reasons. But there does seem to be a consensus on the internet. So here goes. This area is called the Darien Gap. It is a 60-mile stretch of very dense jungle that sits on the border of Panama and Colombia. The area is known to be one of the most dangerous jungles in the world. The wildlife that lives here is enough to make that a true statement. And it rains here, a lot. So it is very wet, almost always at 100% humidity. And there are also serious mountains and rivers that make it an area that would be very difficult and very costly to build a road. Now, it could be done, but it would be an expensive and complicated engineering challenge. This is one of the most biodiverse places on the planet, and one of only a few places in the world with no development. And I can tell you, as we travel across this planet so far, it is nice to know that there are some places still left untouched. A place that the animals can still roam free, where the environment remains untouched. That really is kind of a nice thing. Also, 3 indigenous groups of people live in this jungle: the Kuna, the Embera, and the Wunan. Now, I'm sure I may have said those wrong, but you get my point. 3 indigenous groups of people live here, and building a road through here would for sure disturb their way of life. The Darien Gap is considered one of the most dangerous places in the world, not just because of the terrain and the wildlife, but also because of rebel military groups and drug traffickers. The area is patrolled by these groups, and whether it's right or wrong, they treat this land as their own, and they protect it fiercely. Cattle. You may wonder how cows could prevent a road. Well, it isn't the cows, it's the industry. The cattle industry has been fighting against a road connecting North America and South America since the 1970s. Why? Well, disease. North America eradicated foot and mouth disease in their livestock in the 1950s. South America still has this disease in their cows. So North American cattle farmers feel like a road could open North America back up to this disease, and well, that would be bad for them. All right, a few more interesting facts. The gap has been crossed 7 times in a vehicle. At least that's the documented ones that we could find. Think extreme off-road 4x4 vehicles, Jeeps and Land Rovers, not the fancy ones you see on the highways, but hardcore off-road vehicles. The dates of these crossings range from the 1960s to the 1980s, and each expedition took a really long time. Think 3 to 6 months. And of course, the failed attempts are too numerous to count. You can walk across the gap, Migrants cross the gap all the time. Now, we do not get political on our YouTube channel, so this is not to be a political debate. But it is a fact that people, so desperate to find a better life, make their way north from south.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I wanted to show you there. What you just check on the book, in this audio where people explain why they're going to like this adventure, but they can't cross, and they took the plane, right? In this case, these people took a ferry, but in the case of the guys from the book, of the audio you just listened to, they took a plane, right? So this is the reason. But even though it would be so interesting, right? Actually, that's not the longest route you can take. For example, you could go from South Africa to Siberia, right? This is the longest walkable is caminable. Yeah, it's the longest walkable route that you could ever imagine. You can go from Cape Town, South Africa to Magadan, that is in Russia, in Siberia. And this is the longest, is 22,000 kilometers. And well, it would take 4,500 hours to walk, right? But you can walk it if you want, right? What countries would you see on the way? Well, depends on where you start. Let's imagine you start from South Africa. So you would visit South Africa, of course, Cape Town. You would check Zambia, Tanzania, Congo Republic, South Sudan, Sudan, Egypt. You would go across here to Israel, Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, right? Georgia, and then you will go all the way to Russia. In Russia, right here, Mongolia, and it's the longest way you could ever do. And I think there are some YouTubers that you can find on YouTube. There's many people who have actually traveled this, not by walking, but they have traveled on a motorbike. I follow a YouTuber that he travels the world in a motorbike, and he's been to different parts of Africa. And well, the word teaches you how different it is. So I don't know, would you ever like to make an adventure like this, and would you ever like to travel the world? Maybe not like so crazy, but a similar one.
Not too long, but personality, I like to travel by my motorcycle. Now, years ago, I traveled to South Dakota. It took 2 days to get there. I visited the Mount Rushmore National Memorial.
Wow.
You know, the mountain with the heads of the presidents.
Yes.
And you may have to travel to different parts of Mexico. And 5 years ago, I traveled to Yucatan, Monterrey to Yucatan. And
Yes, so you took the motorbike too?
yes, and
Oh,
every
far away.
year I try to make 3 trips in Mexico, spending the weekend traveling by my motorcycle. I think it's the best.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the last years I had an accident. I broke my ribs.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and in fact, all my entry left thorax broke it, and I spent 2 months to recover.
Oh, bummer. Well, that sucks. But yeah, you look like an adventurous person. So I don't know, and I haven't tried a motorbike because well, I don't know. I think that it would be hard for me, and I think it's a little bit unsafe. But I think the adrenaline and the adventure, it's amazing. I think it's something that you should really do once in a lifetime.
You will enjoy it. I recommend you.
Yes?
Yes.
Well, I would like to, but I would be afraid I would die if I follow the motorcycle, if I have a car accident.
Well,
Yeah, it
that
depends.
yeah, all depends.
Yeah,
All depends
yeah,
the
like you,
situation
yeah,
and condition.
what you told me is really interesting. And well, this person too from like I forgot the name. He's a good YouTuber. And he has traveled different parts of the world in his motorbike. I follow him. It's very interesting. He enjoys it. What he said is that when you are traveling by car, you feel that you are isolated. You're inside the car. But when you're in a motorbike, you feel that you see the nature and you are involved, you know. Yeah.
You smell the different place, the different country, the different sounds. For example, when you are traveling for every farm, you smell the
Yeah.
animals, the flowers, the you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that that's what you enjoy if you're in a motorbike because in a car you wouldn't enjoy this unless you open the window.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay. So, well, that's a crazy thing. We're going to but I didn't ask the rest. Uh, Luigi, would you ever like to make a trip like this?
What? The first one?
Yeah, would you ever like to make a trip like this long, like visit different countries, maybe by car or maybe by
Uh,
motorbike?
um, in car, well, I drive in the pandemic all my country,
Hmm.
mostly all because I I start to doing a private driver for people who no have plane because the the flights are closed, you know, in the pandemic,
Yeah, I know.
and so I start to work in the private driver to move
Mhm.
people for the state of another state. But
Good.
for travel another country, yes, I was travel to different countries, South America, beaches, and Punta Cana, United States also, New York,
Mhm.
and Eurotrip. And Tomorrowland is a festival for electronic. And the most far country I visited is Dubai, well, Emirates, and that is not good for me because it's too much hot.
Mhm.
But I before I have the spirit for travel. Now I'm more quick, more more stable in my country.
Okay. Yeah, and sometimes countries are big enough. Like if you think about Peru, Peru has many things to visit. Mexico, it's so huge. Colombia, right? Sometimes people travel to other countries, but they don't know the potential of their own countries where they come from. Uh, Edgardo mentioned too the United States. United States is huge. Um, it's a country where you can find deserts, where you can find mountains, snow, big cities, not jungle. They're missing the jungle. And I think there are many countries that are multi-diverse, like this. Mexico too is very multi-diverse. If you go to the south, to Yucatan, for example, that you mentioned, it's so hot. If you go north, it's very cold, and they have desert and snow, right? And different places to visit. So sometimes the best adventure is when you visit your place, the local country where you come from. But yeah, I mean, And the world is so diverse. There are many things to see, and I think it's the beautiful part about being, about having an adventure. I think that sometimes we just need this because monotony can be very boring, right? We need adventure in our lives. We need to enjoy different things every day sometimes, like going on vacation, like sometimes don't go to very expensive vacation, but just have an adventure. Yeah. So that's why I want to share with you some vocabulary that we use when we travel, right? Especially we check vocabulary when you travel by plane, but I would like to show you some words and some idioms that you use when you travel by car or by motorcycle. Yeah. So the first is the road. When you say road trip, a road trip is just when you go, you can say also highway, but highway is like very beautiful with the asphalt and everything. And road, it can be everything. Sometimes it can be a dust road, no? Un camino de tierra. It can be different things. So in general, you call a road trip when you say, "Hey, I'm going to take my motorbike and I would like to have a road trip." Yeah, a road trip. And so this is the name of the activity, like the adventure. This family is crazy because they took the bicycle. Can you imagine? So I just can imagine how strong their legs were after pedaling for so many years. Because bicycle is a very good exercise, but I think that is not the same the car, obviously, but the motorcycle compared to the bicycle. The bicycle, you get so tired, and not all the roads are good for a bicycle, you know. Sometimes it's very steep. Steep means inclinado, no? Sometimes the road is very steep, and imagine you're riding your bike when it's so steep. I would kill myself. Okay, so yeah, so I show you, right, the difference between road and a highway. Yeah. Okay, what else? Well, if you're in the city, we don't call these highways, we just call it the streets. Yeah, the streets or the alleys. But when you travel from city to another city, or when you travel to a state from another state, these are called highways. The other one is the sometimes we go through these when you are in the city, and it's called traffic jam. Traffic jam. Yeah, maybe you know this expression. When there are so many cars, you cannot even drive, and it takes so long to go home. Actually, I feel sorry for people, and I just don't want to offend you if you have this activity. Some people work from the outskirts of the city. Outskirts son como las afueras, ¿no? The suburbs, viven en los suburbios, but they work in the city. So every day they have to go to the center of the city and they need to go back. And it takes sometimes 2 or 3 hours one way. And it's so sometimes there are terrible traffic jams and people lose a lot of life quality because they do not only have to work 8 hours a day. So most of the time people work like 8 hours a day, but they also need to add daytime for the transportation to their job. So now you can make the calculations, you can do some math. When you have the 8 hours, yeah, and then you stay 2 hours one way to go to the place where you want to go. So that's 4 hours a day. So you're not working 8 hours, you're working 10 or 12 hours because you also need to go back from that job. Okay, when your motorcycle or when your car doesn't have enough fuel, in United States they call it gas. Actually, this is fun because gas comes from gasoline, but gas also means gas, and it's a little bit actually I think it's a mistake, but people call gas gasoline, right? No me refiero gas al gas, no, me refiero a la gasolina. But in English, in American English, you say gas. In British English, you say petrol. Okay. The other one is the toll booth. All right. I'm going to show you. What a toll booth is. All right, that's the toll booth. Toll booth, that's how it's called in English. Toll booth. Okay, the next one that we have is the well, if we talk about the motorcycle, this is called the kickstand. Kickstand. Some bicycles have them too, right? So this is called kickstand. All right. What else? Well, sometimes the roads are a little bit like this, when they look like this, like a snake, or like in a mountain, like this. They are called winding road. Winding road. And it's when it looks like a snake. Okay. Now, we talk about some idioms. We have hit the road. Hit the road is, it's just when you start a trip. Empezar un viaje. In English, the expression is hit the road. Like, I would like to hit the road. You can say, I need to hit the road, right? You can say on the road. We are on the road is when you're traveling. You say, I'm on the road. On the road. There are many songs in English about that have this title. On the road. Okay. Do you like to drive fast? Do you
No,
like to
no,
drive fast? No?
no.
Okay, so when people do this is called burn rubber. Burn rubber. Burn rubber, it means when they make it spin so fast, right? And it looks like this. So this is burn rubber. Okay. Well, what else do we have? When you say put the pedal to the metal. Put the pedal to the metal is like Fast and Furious. It's like driving so fast. You put the pedal to the metal. Okay. Very well. There's a funny expression in English, now that I remember, that is like my way or the highway. Do you know what this means? My way or the highway? This expression is used when you want to tell the person, it's not literal to talk about the trips, but it is like, I want to do it in English. There's the expression, do it my way. Hacerlo a mi manera. Do it my way, right? So in English, some people say like this, my way or the highway. And it means like, I want to do it my way. Like either we do it my way or you can go. It's like we can do it the way that I want, or you can just leave. You know, it's like, it's a way of saying que quiero hacerlo a mi manera. You can say my way or the highway. Just remember this expression. Okay, and then we talk about some other expressions are down the road. Down the road, you will use it when you're traveling and there's something next, right? When there's something next and you see down the road, eh, and you say it like, you know, más adelante del camino, I don't know, down the road, there's a bump. A bump is un reductor de velocidad, you know, tope, a bump. So you can see, down the road, there is a hole. Down the road, there is a police check. Yeah. Okay. So um, these things, right, we call them speed bumps. Speed bumps. And they're not common in many countries, just when it's necessary, right? But I think that some countries like Mexico, there are so many speed bumps everywhere. There are so many speed bumps. Okay, so when we have the expression that was a bumpy ride, what do you think is the meaning of this? A bumpy ride.
Away with the hose.
Yes, but this can be taken like metaphoric, is to say that you're having a difficult trip,
Okay.
that you're having maybe some problems in life, and you could say, or you could say that you had a bad experience or a difficult experience, and you say that was a bumpy ride. That's the way you can say it. Other expression we can use is in the driver's seat. So we know what this literal means, to be in the driver's seat. But when you think about the idiom, in the driver's seat means that you are under control of the situation, you know? So when you start taking your decisions in life and you say, well, now I am in the driver's seat. Now I need to take decisions in life. Okay. So you can see that many of these expressions, you can use them when you travel, but some others actually, they are a little bit more metaphoric. Yeah. And we have this other expression that is called rev up. Rev up is to accelerate, you know, or you can see it like speed up, acelerar. Yeah. You see rev up. Yeah. So you can use it literally, or you can use it also when you're happy, when you're enthusiastic about something. I think this is an American expression. And they say, come on, rev up. Es como animarse por algo, you know? Emocionarse, acelerarse. Rev up. Okay. Then we have the next one that is called the road hug. Maybe it's a character from a video game, but that's not what I mean. Road hug. Well, hug is like big, you know? So we have here the a road hug. A road hug is when you have when there's when ahead down the road there's a truck, right? If you're driving, si estás manejando y delante hay un coche muy amplio, you can say, well, that's a road hog down the way. So it's a driver that is using all the highway, you know, or that they don't let you go in. You call it the road hog or highway hog.
It's not a pig. It's literal.
No, they call it big because it's big and it takes space in the road, in the trip.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So just some expressions I wanted to share. Now we go back here. Actually, I think I was sharing my screen, but I don't know. I don't know if I was sharing my screen. Okay, never mind. Okay, because I want to show you the vocabulary, but I think all the time I was just showing the book. I'm not sure. Okay, so now we're going to back to the book. I see I'm sharing that. And we are going to have a little review of the past. But we also have the difference here is that you have the past continuous. So again, what is the difference between the simple past and the past continuous? Well, simple past, you call it whatever you did a moment ago, you know? So you use the simple past when you want to, when you finished an activity. That's the key, when you finish the activity. The past continuous, you use it when you did this activity for a period of time, yeah? But also when you use the past continuous and the simple past together, and this is the key word, is because they interrupt each other. Just like the roadhog. So the past continuous is like the roadhog. When we talk about simple past and the past continuous, they are roadhogs. All right. So here we go. We're going to check this activity. I'm going to show you what we have to do in the number one, and you do the other ones, okay? So here I have to complete. This is my bike, and I have two options, broke or was breaking. Okay, but the sentence continues. It says, down, while I rode is the past of ride, and was riding. Was riding is the past continuous. So now the question is, what option do I choose? Okay, so in this case, my bike, you would say my bike broke. Okay, I'm going to switch computer. One moment. Okay, I'm back here. All right. So in this case, we're going to say my bike Mexico, it took a long time, right? You didn't road Mexico in one day. Mexico is so huge. So when I was writing, it means that it's the past, but it took a long time. Other thing is that I use the simple past here because my bike broke down like so fast, right? It was at a moment. So this is the activity that we could say that interrupts the other activity. Okay, so my bike broke down while I was riding through Mexico. So this means before I was riding through Mexico, but something happened. What happened that my bike broke? So we're gonna try to do the next ones. You think you could help me with number two? We have the verb study versus the verb buy, but you need to choose the simple past or the past continuous. So I'm gonna ask Samantha, can you help me read number two, please?
When she was studying in Greece, Aileen bought food from um you're covering it. The rest of the sentence.
I'm sorry, my microphone was off. Okay, Can you say again? When she?
When she was studying in Greece, Aileen bought food from local markets.
Excellent. So you understand, right? Because studying in Greece takes time. So I need to use past continuous. And also, Evelyn bought food from local markets. Well, we could say that they are simultaneous. But I think that we could say even it's both, right? Because they're simultaneous. When she was studying in Greece, Evelyn was buying food from local markets. It depends, right? If Evelyn was with me, I could say Evelyn bought because even though they are not interrupting each other, this action takes longer. But if I mean that both actions are simultaneous, so I can use the past continuous here too. When she was studying in Greece, Evelyn was buying food. It's like I went to study, but in Greece, you go to Greece for months, no? And you buy food from local markets in months? I don't think so, right? So I think it's correct to use both. Okay, good. Paola, please help me with the number 3. We have the verb sit and the verb here. So I need to read the sentence and get the idea so I can choose the right verb.
I was sitting in the park when I heard the news.
Good. Excellent. Thank you. So again, I was sitting in the park. This takes some hours. And something happened in the meantime, which was the news, right? I heard the news, so maybe it was something that called my attention. Maybe another activity of Donald Trump. Would you please help me with number 4?
When the hail what began?
Do you understand hail? Do you understand the meaning of hail?
No.
Okay, hail is like a rock, frozen rock. Something like this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I think some people call it granizo. How do you call it?
Granizo
Yes,
also.
In Spanish?
granizo.
Yes, granizo too? Okay. I think different countries, they call it differently. Okay. So when the hail, cuando el granizo empezó o estaba empezando, and I took or was taken.
When the hail was beginning, I was talking on the phone.
Okay, I think we could do the opposite. When the hail began, I was talking on the phone. Why? Because taking on the phone takes longer, right? When the hail begins, it's just a moment. So when the hail began, we could say this action is interrupting the other, right? So the action that interrupts the other one is the simple past. Okay. Okay, yeah, any questions? Now, the next one, number 5, we have call and we have watch. Edgardo, could you help us read, please?
Sure. You were calling when I was watching the football game.
Okay, yes, can be you were calling while I was watching the football game. So two simultaneous actions. Now, if I want to imagine that your call interrupting me, so I could say you called while I was watching the football game. I think both options are correct. Okay, so now we go to the next one, right? It says Neil and Austin, and we have drive and run. Yeah, so Neil and Austin through the blizzard when they out of gas. Yeah, when they say run, it doesn't mean literally run. Yeah, ran out of something means que se le acabó, ran out of gas. Yeah, just in case. I know you understand, but you know it's not literal. So Neil and Austin, we're driving right through the blizzard. Blizzard is a very strong snow storm. Yeah, it's like a storm, but it's with snow. Neil and Austin were driving through the blizzard when they ran out of gas. Okay, that's very dangerous. Okay, so they were driving. This took a long time, then running out of gas, because when they run out of gas, it's just a moment, it's a second, right? Okay, there we go. I think so. According to the book, the only we should have changed, right? You called while I was watching. According to the book, I think both are valid. So you have any questions about the simple past or the past continuous? So I recommend you that you read some news. You can check this a website that I sent you. And we're going to continue with the simple past next class. All right. So well, let's call it a night. It's time to finish. So take